Morning, Kieran.
It's finally good to speak with you. I've been following your your son's case there with quite some time, and of course, like the more I read about it, the more shocking it actually is. It
Yes.
clearly shows like how messed up the entire judicial system is in Ireland. They don't seem to be interested in catching people that committed something. They're more interested in catching anybody and framing them for it. It seems to be the norm in Ireland.
Well, it definitely would appear that way. Since we've started the campaign, we've been contacted by numerous families who have been through coercion and corruption and collusion involving the state and on Garda Síochána, and it definitely is prevalent. I don't believe Aaron's case is the exception. And as you in your podcast have shown quite clearly, and what you've suffered yourself, your family, uh, unfortunately, is the norm in this state now, in the Irish Republic, for Garda Síochána and the state to behave like this, and we just have to keep fighting against it.
Yeah, for sure. And one of the things that shocked me the most in this, and I'm going to leave you explain to our listeners again and viewers about the case there from start to finish, is about the way they used the US, and they, again, to get a conviction, used a person that has, no credibility whatsoever. The person again, like, it was absolutely terrible. And again, like, the more I've read about it, it was just shocking what they're after doing to Aaron. And hopefully we can get this to some of our friends, some senators and congressmen in the States, and get them to actually start looking at this. Or maybe, we can get it into the present administration in the States and get them to interfere in, because like when you're looking at this, it's terrible. It's just another family destroyed again by the Irish government.
Yes, very much so. We were told, the DPP and the state barristers did tell the jury and the judge at the beginning of Aaron's trial that the circumstantial evidence was very weak, and that circumstantial evidence being that evidence surrounding the scene of the murder and the robbery, and that they had based the prosecution on the testimony of witnesses who were based in America, as you quite rightly say. And over the last 5 years, we've shown not only are they not credible, they're criminals. We've proven that they're illegal immigrants, drug dealers, and links to the real IRA, all sorts of incredible, unbelievable life stories these people have, and they still remain in America. Some of them still have businesses in America, actually. And we did have, Aaron's defence team did employ an immigration lawyer, a man called Kerry Bretts, with 30 years experience in immigration in New York. And he said the main witness, Daniel Cahill, his feet shouldn't have touched the ground. He should have been on the next available flight out of America back to Dublin. So that's the basis of the prosecution against our son. Flimsy, circumstantial evidence. The prosecution told us was circumstantial, but we have proven beyond any doubt that that weak circumstantial evidence was very severely tampered with, withheld. Aaron's had vast swathes of evidence withheld from him, and only for very tenuous but small links we have in the DPP, we did get some, like the CCTV footage of the actual murder and the robbery. We weren't privy to that. Aaron's in jail now for 40 years. He's served 8, and Aaron Brady is not allowed to review the evidence with which he was convicted. He has no evidence. Aaron has no evidence books. He has none of the evidence physically with him in prison, so he can review it. That was all taken from him.
Yeah, I'm not really surprised, to be honest about it.
Yeah,
It just
yeah.
seems to be the norm. Like, I've spoke to so many people, and of course, even what happened, my son, it was, all evidence seems to disappear. CCTV footage disappears. DNA. Everything just disappears. It's just anything when the Gardaí, they're great at covering up all these different acts, especially if they're involved in it some way themselves. They seem to have a habit, like, of doing this. And I've spoke to dozens of families all over Ireland at this stage. And, again, shocking treatment, like, from the state and from the Garda Síochána. I mean, it's absolutely terrible. Can you go into what actually happened that day of the robbery, and also, again, about the evidence that you got after that, about the killer that killed the Garda, again, about explain to our listeners again, like, how this couldn't be Aaron.
Yeah. On the 25th of January 2013, the credit unions in the Cooley Peninsula, for your listeners, it's just a small peninsula jutting out into the Irish Sea north of Dublin, north of Dundalk. The local credit unions were gathering up their monies for the Friday evening, and along with a Garda escort, 3 or 4 credit unions were taking the money to a safe in the bank in Dundalk. And the final stop, which is Lordship Credit Union, just outside Dundalk, about 5 kilometres from Dundalk, 4 men hid behind a wall and awaited for the Garda car and the credit union worker from the other credit unions. And as the people left Lordship Credit Union, they entered their cars, 2 people, Pat Bellew and Bernard McShane. And at that moment, the 4 men jumped across the wall. 1 man ran to Bernard McShane's car, 1 man to Pat Bellew's car, and the 2 armed raiders, 1 with a shotgun and 1 with a handgun, ran directly towards the Garda car. They approached the Garda car from the driver's side, and just as they were coming across the wall, a car blocked the entrance to the credit union. So obviously the vehicles couldn't leave. Detective Garda Donoghue got out of the car to investigate what had happened at the gateway, and as he exited the car, the shotgun was discharged, and Detective Garda Adrian Donoghue was fatally injured immediately. He was shot across the roof of the car. So the raiders are attacking the driver's door, and as Adrian got out on the passenger side, the gun was fired, and Adrian Donoghue was killed instantly. The raiders then, 2 raiders proceeded to open the car door where the driver of the car, Detective Joe Ryan, sat, and they faced Joe Ryan for about 58 seconds, 1 with a shotgun and 1 with a handgun, shouting, "Give us the money, give us the effing money." And Joe Ryan was looking at these 2 men for 60 seconds. So obviously, as you had mentioned slightly earlier, Joe Ryan had perspective of the 2 men. So the man with the shotgun, Joe Ryan, the guard with 30 years experience along the border, said the raider with the shotgun was 6'1", the raider with the handgun 5'7" or 5'8". So obviously we're interested in the raider with the shotgun, and with Joe Ryan's eyewitness testimony and with our engineer's report from the CCTV footage, we say that the raider with the handgun is 6 foot, or the raider with the handgun is 5'8" or 5'9", but the raider with the shotgun is possibly 6'3". Our son Aaron is 5'7". So it is physically impossible for Aaron to have anything to do with the murder of Detective Garda Adrian Donoghue. And when the CCTV footage is analysed, the 4 raiders, and we have also, I suppose, with the cars in the car park and the open doors of Pat Bellew's Mazda, but more importantly, the open door of the Garda Avensis. As they open the door, we have the apex of the open door. So that's an anchor point for the head. Us ourselves, we have measured over 60 Avensis cars, the 2012 Avensis cars, and they're all 56 or 58 inches. So we've always taken the lower end of the scale. We haven't tried to exaggerate in any way, and we've taken that at 56 inches, and it gives us, again, perspective for the man with the handgun, and obviously perspective with the man with the shotgun. And it physically cannot be our son Aaron. Any of the 4 raiders are all taller than Aaron.
And
So,
did they, when that evidence was given to the Garda Síochána, were they willing to look at that, or did they just dismiss that?
it was all dismissed, and it's only recently through our own investigations and looking at the CCTV footage. Some viewers will have watched some of our campaign videos, and they will have seen what the video footage that was actually shown in court. And all you can see, Kieran, is like little smudges moving about, little shadows moving, which are the raiders in the car park. But when it's very simply enhanced, it's quite clear to see the open door, the raider with the handgun, and the raider with the shotgun. It's and these are pictures we have created. I've given these pictures to every media outlet in this island. I've handed them directly to the likes of Robin Schiller, Owen Reynolds, Paul Reynolds, all these so-called crime correspondents. And I said, there's a picture of the man who shot Adrian Donoghue, and it's not Aaron. It was brushed over in court, so we never really got to see in court the enhanced video. It was all tampered with. There is a voice recording from a dash cam, and we don't have the original of that. That's a little bit of the evidence we don't have, but on hearing it during the trial and during the course of Aaron's appeal, it does sound like sort of southern western Irish accents. But when the DPP actually played this again, and this was an extraordinary thing, we didn't understand the court system at the time. During the course of Aaron's trial, they said they sent the voice recording to Holland or Germany for re-enhancement, and they actually played this in the court to the jury and the judge, and it sounded like whales and dolphin noises. They took away the human voices, and we didn't really understand what was happening at that time. It was only towards the end of Aaron's trial, and that we realised how much they were manipulating everything, and how.
And were they any copy before they enhanced the as they called it, the audio? Did they keep are they still a copy of the original audio for that?
Oh, there will be an original copy somewhere, but again, I'm only using that as an example of how they tampered with the evidence and wouldn't allow the jury to hear the original footage again, or the original soundtrack again from the dash cam.
And what were their grounds for that? Well, why, when Aaron's solicitor or barrister actually asked them why didn't they leave the jury hear the original audio, what was their excuse for that?
Well, it would have been an issue there insofar as Aaron's defence team didn't question the use of the dolphin and whale noises.
Wow.
And a lot of it was let run. Like, it's only in recent times that this has become an issue that, and probably it's a fault of my own, you get so caught up in it, sometimes you can't see the wood because of the trees. We knew Joe Ryan's statement said the man was 6 foot, 6'1". One of the credit union workers seen the man running with the shotgun, and she said he was long and athletic. So that wasn't Aaron. And then when we got the CCTV footage, and I simply enhanced it myself on the laptop, and all of a sudden it was there, as clear as day in black and white. It physically cannot be Aaron who shot Adrian Donoghue, and it physically cannot be Aaron as one of the raiders in the car park. And it's very important. Aaron, Brendan Graham, who obviously the senior counsel for the prosecution, Lachlan Staines, the junior counsel, like, these men stood up in court and pointed at Aaron Brady and said, "You are the man who shot Adrian Donoghue. You are the man who pulled the trigger." Obviously, these men have watched the CCTV footage, enhanced, closed out. They would have far greater access to better quality video engineering than we would, and they would have known from the very beginning of the preparation for the prosecution that Aaron Brady wasn't the man who shot Adrian Donoghue.
But the
But
crazy thing about the crazy thing about this is, like, where's the evidence? I mean, they don't seem to be any evidence whatsoever
oh
that
no,
Aaron committed this. There don't seem to be any, not even the smallest little bit. I mean,
the
this
only
is the thing that always shocked me about this. There's nothing. I mean, there's absolutely nothing to connect Aaron to any crime. And when you
no,
listen to the evidence they presented, I mean, none of that connection to this. That's
no,
the most shocking thing about this.
no, absolutely not. In fact, uh, very much so. All the evidence from the scene of the crime proves that Aaron wasn't there. There was footprints, and there was cast taken of footprints behind the wall, and how the when the raiders walked through a field to hide behind the wall of the credit union, those footprints were cast, and again they were dealt with in the Phoenix Park or Santry, and were also sent to um, again Germany, Holland, and Belgium, I think, for an analysis, and none of them matched Aaron's foot size. There was DNA found on the inside door of the Garda car. Unidentified male DNA wasn't Aaron's. So,
It's it's absolutely shocking. I mean, I'm so sorry what your family has gone through here. I mean, it's
yeah,
like every last thing that you speak. I mean, there's no connection. I mean, Aaron has no connection whatsoever to this, and that's
no,
the thing. The reason why I sort of reaching out, we sort of speaking,
yes,
and I've read a lot about this, and it's one of the biggest travesties of justice, like in Ireland. I mean, it's terrible. A man that has spent 8 years behind bars for a crime clearly he didn't commit. There's no
yes,
evidence to say he did. I mean, there's absolutely none. Shoe site doesn't fit. Any DNA at the science at the scene doesn't match Aaron's. It's
no,
the voice recognition or whatever they used initially before they enhanced it is clearly not his. Um,
yes.
but yet they put a man behind bars for that. It is absolutely shocking. I'm so sorry.
Yeah. And I suppose the reason for it, the reason I suppose people will be all asking why pick on Aaron, um, Aaron, Aaron's friend James Flynn, who was also again, it gets very very complicated. James was tried for the robbery of a car allegedly used in the modern robbery. This is the problem with Aaron's case. We're going to shoot off in all different tangents here. But very briefly, Aaron's friend was James Flynn, was tried for the theft of a blue Passat. And the state say this was allegedly used in the Northern robbery. Yet the only eyewitnesses to the getaway car said it was grey or silver. But notwithstanding that, James has been acquitted of having any involvement in the Northern robbery. His car
But
was seen driving around the
but
square and across the Glen at the time of the Northern robbery.
but even if James did steal a car, even if he did, right?
Yes,
Um,
yes,
even if he did do that, I mean, how can they still connect Aaron to that? I mean, they're two different people. There's no DNA evidence.
no,
The match of the actual person that killed the Garda and Aaron, like, are two completely different people. There's
yes,
nothing. I mean, there's absolutely nothing here to connect them. I mean, it's terrible.
no. And the reason I was going off on James's tangent, James actually lived about 2 kilometres from the credit union. And on the night of the Northern robbery, um, Aaron was actually involved in something illegal. He was involved in illegal fuel laundering. And that's what Aaron was doing on the Friday evening. And the time Adrian Donahue lost his life and was brutally murdered, Aaron was loading cubes of diesel onto a lorry.
Yeah, I want to
So,
explain to our listeners about that especially for
yes,
the American listeners, because we want to get this tape again to some of our congressmen in the States. The laundry of diesel, what it is on the Irish border, there's fuel that is again brought across the border for sale. It's been going on in Ireland for forever, and of
yeah,
course, like, that is very common. Over the years, I knew hundreds of people that were involved in it. They used to make a living doing it. So again, it was
yes,
bringing fuel from one place to the next, crossing this invisible border and making money doing it.
yes. That's a good break summary of what was happening. So, James and Aaron actually 4 hours after the Northern robbery, James picked Aaron up from his then girlfriends, and the two boys drove through the outer cordon. I think Aaron got out of the car and had to move a cone, drove through down her cordon at Ballymascannon roundabout. That's, again, for a little bit of geography, it's junction 18 of the M1 in Ireland. And they drove on down to the inner cordon. And they spoke to a member of the Garda Síochána there. He obviously stopped them. And James and Aaron said, we're just going home. We're just going home. That was fine. They drove through the inner cordon, went home, went to bed. And about 12 o'clock the next day, they were actually leaving. They were going back out of James's house. And Aaron actually said to James, the two boys will tell you this, Aaron said, go on up through Ravensdale. Don't be driving through all the guards. And James said, it's fine, we'll go and see what's happening. And James drove through, there was hundreds of guards. Obviously, they were out on the road, checking the side, the grass verges for anything that was thrown out, cars or any sort of evidence. They were stopped. And Garda John Maroney, and we believe very much that this member of the Garda Síochána, he's now a superintendent. I think we talked about this, about guards getting promoted. But he was a sergeant at the time. He stopped, he asked James and Aaron were taking out the car, asked for the way up. And Aaron said he was in his girlfriend's house. Now, obviously, Aaron wasn't going to tell Sergeant John Maroney that he was loading cubes of laundered diesel into a lorry. So when everything was investigated, obviously, Aaron went into the Garda barracks and told them, listen, I told today, I was in my girlfriend's house after I was in the yard. So Aaron told Detective Phillips and Detective McGovern, off the record with a solicitor, he says, I was in this yard laundering fuel, and unbelievably, members of the Garda Síochána never investigated the yard or got it or went to it or visited it. And Aaron was obviously a suspect. So that lay Aaron told at the roundabout was the whole media. That's what the whole case was built on through the Irish media. And if we think about this logically, just for the human aspect of it, James and Aaron had 15 hours, if they had anything to do with the modern robbery, they would have had 15 hours to prepare a story or an alibi, if you like. And Aaron told a story that he would have needed his girlfriend, his girlfriend's sister, his girlfriend's best friend, his girlfriend's mum and dad, and his girlfriend's brother. He would have needed all those people to collaborate that he was in the house at 7:30, 8 o'clock instead of being in the diesel yard. So it's Sergeant John Maroney along with Pat Marry. The murder happened in 2013. By 2016, they had absolutely nothing. There was no, and we know this from podcasts and the ratings of Mr. Pat Marry, another investigating officer. And they made the decision, we can see it quite clearly because we are studying the case. They made a decision, I think, in between September and December 2016. Listen, we've missed the boat here. We've done the investigation wrong at the beginning. Someone is going to have to go down for the murder of Adrian Donahue. Let's pick Aaron Brady. He told a lie at the roundabout. And that's, in a nutshell, Kieran, sort of how, and then the next thing was the roller coaster. Aaron was arrested in America in 2017, and he's been incarcerated ever since. So that's basically, that's what happened on this side of the pond. They made a
and where's Aaron being held at the moment?
He's in Portlaoise. He was in Mountjoy, and he's in Portlaoise now at the moment.
Okay.
And I have to say, he's been treated very well. My family and Aaron's family are treated very well when we visit. Because of the campaign, I think everyone, and I'm sure those working the prison officers know that this man is innocent. It wasn't always so nice going in to visit him. It wasn't always plain sailing, and it wasn't always simple. And to a degree, we understand that. Like they would be whispering in Aaron's ear, Garda killer, all this sort of thing. And that's just to give a little bit of context. But now, so professional, there's never any issues. We're never turned away. and they're just very well mannered, and we're treated very well. I think that's important. It gives context nearly to the whole story. That
Right.
little bit of our visits, Darren, are no stress, I suppose, is the best way to put it.
And you hired a forensic expert in the United States to look at some of this too, or you spoke with some people in the US about this?
We have spoken to some people in the US, and they were stopped by the authorities. We had some PIs that were making some inroads, and we got the same email. Sorry, we can't take this any further. We wish you, your family, and Aaron all the best, but we can't go any further. And I asked Tom, I understand, that's fine. Can you tell us if there was any pressure put on you to stop investigating the issues we've given you? And he said, Tony, I'd rather not say. And I have been banned from going to the United States of America myself, and I think 8 friends were flying to Las Vegas in 2016, Caroline. Yeah, February 2016, and I was stopped at the US border force in Dublin. And when questioned, Officer Cucci, the young Hawaiian officer, was looking at his screen, and he said, Mr. Brady, have you ever been involved in intimidating people in an ongoing court case? And I said, Mr. Cucci, I most certainly have not. So on that basis, I have been stopped going to America. And I wasn't going on Aaron's business at that time. This was a pre-arranged thing that we've a small group of us pre-COVID. We used to play poker once a week, and we were going out to Las Vegas. All the other boys went on, but I wasn't. So I can't.
It's actually a small world. I actually know that border force agent in Dublin, Cookie, the Asian guy. Of course, I travel and I work under an American passport, so I actually know him. I always, yeah. But it's well, thank you very much. And what I'm going to do is definitely going to post this up on our social media. But I'm also going to get a copy of this to my own congressman. We are going to the US in March. We have a delegation going with the Geese, and also a new political party that we're opening in Ireland. And we will be meeting with people with the Trump administration. And I'm also going to give them a copy of this as well. And I'm going to plead with them to please just have a look at this. There's something really, really wrong here. And I really hope and I pray, and I mean that, I hope and I pray that your son gets justice, that he gets Bee's release. And I also hope the killers for the Garda are actually also found. That his family also get justice for what happened to him. But it's a shocking case.
Yeah, and there's fast ways. The American aspect of it is very much, we've proven that those people have told lies who give statements against Aaron. They said that Aaron Brady said, I shot the cop. Well, if we take that in context, that's physically impossible. Even if Aaron said it, Aaron physically can't have done it. But Aaron never said that to any of these people. But having said that, Aaron never hid the fact that he was the man that was in front of the newspapers here in Ireland, face very poorly pixelated as Garda killer. Like we have all this sort of stuff here, just to give some context what the Irish media done to our family. Now that's before Aaron was arrested.
Right.
So Garda killer has baby in New York. We've had loads, all that sort of thing. We've been blamed. Aaron's been blamed for all the ATM raids, you name it. He's done it. I was just looking for, then the Tucker family into it. I was heavily involved in the GAA, and they sort of brought me and the GAA into it, and that's why Aaron went to America. It was just getting too much for the family. We just couldn't believe what we were caught in. But it's the American aspect. Those people who told lies in America, if we could get some help with freedom of information, and there's little simple aspects behind what these people have said, that if we can get investigated, it would blow the case open, and we can prove what the guard's done. along with Agent Matt Katsky was the main Homeland Security agent here who was involved in coercing the people in America. And we've called them out publicly, and 600 videos, we've called out the guards, the Homeland Security, the Irish judicial system, the mainstream media, and not one word has been contradicted, not one sentence in over 600 videos.
Well, I can only promise you one thing, that I will definitely get it to my congressman, and I will definitely get him to look at that. I promise you that, and hopefully something will come out of it.
Yes, and I think when I've had this conversation with you, I will play again for my ESTA just to see what happens, and I might need some help or guidance or information for you if that's refused, on what's best to do the next steps.
Yeah,
if that's okay.
Yeah, of course. Thank you very much. I'll send you my email address after this, and you can send me some of the paperwork. I'm going to get that also onto my congressman. And
that'll be fantastic.
Thank you so much for your time. And again, my heart goes out to you and your family. And with the help of God, like that, Aaron will, and the Garda, both of them will get justice for what's after happening here.
Very much so. Thank you for your time, Kieran. Thank you for reaching out, and we'll speak again. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.